Peace and greetings. I pray each and every one of you are doing well. This post was prompted by two conversations. I paused because the first one wasn't really a conversation, it was a comment. And overall, I want to speak about being proactive versus being reactive and how that leads to from a moment to a movement, if that's what we're trying to do. So the first conversation, or I would say comment, came as I was reading an article about the George Floyd killing in Minnesota. As I was looking at it on my computer, my 7-year-old walks in to tell me something, and then she looks at the computer and says, "Oh, Daddy, that's the white man that killed the black man." And it caused me, as you just saw my face, I sat back and I looked at her. And generally, when she makes certain comments that are what I consider teachable moments, then age appropriately, I plant seeds so that I can come back later and just build upon them. But this particular time, I was taken aback. So she told me what she needed to tell me, and she walked out. But it caused me to think, like, wow, conditioning is in full effect, one. Two, the trauma is in full effect, to the point where she's looking at this as it's just an everyday thing. This is just what happens, because she was calm with it. So, I mean, subsequently, I went and talked to her and just planted some seeds. But again, that caused me to pause. The second part was a conversation, and it was a DM conversation with a group of 4 of us. 3 of us, because I came in, did the observation, did the knowledge to see where the conversations were going. And so 2 of the brothers were my age group, and it was a younger brother. Now, 2 were going at it. One of the older brothers and the younger one were going at it. And they were calling each other names, out of character, out of names. It was just disrespect going on both ends. For the most part, or not the most part, what they were arguing about was action. Everybody was frustrated and angry, and what they were talking about was what needs to be done. Something needs to be done because this stuff needs to stop. And I mean, in reference to George Floyd and other killings that have been taking place and accusations that have been happening in reference to black men. So the young brother, as you could think, possibly, was that he was saying, look, we need to go out, get the guns, start killing people. Period. That will get their attention. There's no gray area on this. Let's go out there and kill. The older brother was like, look, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You probably don't even know how to shoot a gun correctly. Now, this brother, who I know, the younger one I don't know too well. The older brother is a gun collector, and he also goes to the range. He knows how to break down, build a gun, so he knows how to manipulate a gun. So that's how he was coming at him, calling him out of names. Younger one, like I said, was coming back at him. The second brother of my age group came in, and now he's trying to talk to the brother, and he's saying, look, brother, you know, the Bible verse, and he quotes the verse, and he says that we should do this, this, and the third, and that the battle was not ours alone, it's God. Now, you know, the younger brother wasn't trying to hear that either. He said, where's prayer getting us? God is doing nothing for you. He's doing nothing for us, so he was going that route. So I'm like, all right, this is not cool on no level. So I got into the conversation, and eventually I got the respect and the ear of the young brother. And when I got his ear, I asked him, all right, brother, I love your energy. I feel what you're saying. All of us are angry here. All of us are upset. But how you going to do this? I asked him first, have you ever read The Art of War? He didn't respond. I said, well, if you haven't, I suggest you reread it. First and foremost, you need to understand that you should never put out a plan like this or state your intentions like this on unsecure medium. That's the first thing. Because the enemy in which you are talking about is playing chess. And right now you're talking about checkers. So first, you should not be saying any of this type of stuff on unsecure medium. Second, I asked him a question. John Brown, it was rhetorical actually. I said, first I used Nat Turner. I said, Nat Turner killed a few white people, but today George Floyd is dead. John Brown killed a few white people, but yet George Floyd is dead today. There are countless other what they would call insurrections or killings of white people out of being upset about how they are treating black people. But today, George Floyd is dead. So my point is, what did those killings do? So I said to the brother, are you trying to be a senseless statistic? Or are you trying to create a greater change that will stop this? And then we all had a conversation, everybody pieced up, and we moved forward. So that leads me into the post that I put yesterday. Some of you may have read it in reference to, and I led in with, we are angry, we are upset, we are all these various things. What do we need to do? What are you going to do with that energy? Are we going to have a moment? Or are we going to have a movement? So I said, and then I'm going to go back interchangeably as with this as the conversation with the young man, because his thing was, look, we need to do something now. We do not need and have time for this layered thing that you're talking about, brother. And he was being respectful. He said, I respect you, and I said, I feel you, bro. But again, chess, checkers. I said, the enemy, however you want to label or categorize or whatever, however you want to subscribe the enemy to be, is going from what I tend to call the Negro 101 handbook. I poke you, you react. I smack you, you react. I kill you, you react. We need to stop reacting and we need to proact. So what I said to him, now I'll go back to my post. I said, we need to be layered in how we approach this condition, this culture, if you will, on the local, state, as well as the federal levels. We need to align ourselves and support individuals and organizations that support the same ideology that we all say that we want and that we're upset now because we're not getting it, i.e. what we're seeing in Minnesota, i.e. what we're seeing, what we saw in New York, Central Park, when the white woman was so quick to accuse this black man of attacking her. So I'm going to speak on the local and state, because some people will say, voting doesn't matter. Your vote means nothing. And I understand the ideology. I understand the logic and the electoral college and all that as in reference to the feds. But I want to speak on the local and the state where there's also kind of, for the most part, real power. Because these people and these elected officials are in position to directly affect your life. Not that the feds can't, but these people definitely, especially the closer they are to you. So if I use the example of Minnesota, if there were elected officials that represented the mindset of those who are protesting and looting and so on and so forth now, then those police officers who have been fired wouldn't feel so comfortable doing what they did, because the culture would have dictated that this is not acceptable. That's what I mean by layered attack and support. So not only just voting people in, but you have to hold them accountable, because then they shouldn't be there again. You're like, okay, you're not going to do this, you're not going to be here. In terms of organizations, again, support the organizations that are touching our children and then touching us in our communities, that are about pouring in the love to help build up that community. So I gave 4 examples, I believe at least 4 examples in my post, and you can check them out. And if you don't have these individuals or organizations within your communities, then you be the person. You mentor someone, you touch someone, you teach a class, you provide a service. Do something to be able to lay the foundation of that ideology in which we all say that we want. Because also what I said in the pro versus reactive, all of this, because from TV shows that I've watched speaking on the Minnesota killing, articles I've read, posts that I've read, there's an overwhelming cry of what do we do? How do we change this? I can't believe this is happening in 2020. For me, it's no mystery. It's a value system. It's the miseducation. The miseducation has been put in place to devalue black people. So how do you change that? People are like, I already know that. So we pass laws. No, legislation doesn't change value. Legislation changes behavior. If you want to change value, you must educate on the value of that person or the group of people. So what I posted within the post was that we need to change our history books. We need to change the books so that they include all the accomplishments of not only African Americans, but Native Americans, Asians, women, Latinos, everyone. That adds value. When someone sees value in something, then they're less likely to want to destroy it or kill it. That's one layer. And then also we need to address the 9 major people activities, which I know I learned from Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., and where I directly got it from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing from the ISIS papers. And those 9 major people activities that affect us on an everyday level, even if you don't subscribe to it, because our acceptance of it is not a requirement for it to exist. That is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, religion, sex, and politics. We need to support those organizations and individuals who are doing the work in these 9 major people activities that can help to bring forth that strong foundation, that paradigm, to then change that culture, which then adds on to the value, changing of the value systems. So then what we're seeing now becomes a thing of the past. So we can go for if we subscribe to the immediate gratification of burning down a police precinct, looting the stores in our own communities. And I shake my head because it's in our own communities. Getting that emotion off. And then what? All you have to do is Google. There's been riots. There's been all of these things before. And then some time passes. And then there's some more killing. So we can continue to go that route and say we need something to happen today. Or we can try this other route. Create a strong, solid foundation, paradigm that will change. We can't get focused on and lose focus on the fact that, well, this is going to take too long. Is it really? We've been here 400 years doing it another way, reacting. Then let that marinate for a moment. So, I just wanted to share those thoughts, and I'll leave you as I began. Peace and greetings. Hotep, and I pray that each of you continue to stay safe, sharp, focused. Think about what we can do, each and every one of us, in supporting the ideology, that change in which we want to see. And then for those who we support, hold them accountable. I'm out.